Yeah, so I'm just gonna sit here now and just pretend and wait to see if anybody turns up, and it is what it is. I turned off all the fancy stuff. Turned off all the OBS. OBS was just destroying me, but I'm just gonna sit here and waffle and wax lyrical. You never know, somebody might turn up. People get annoyed. They get annoyed, GT, because you couldn't get it up and running straight away. 5 to 9, everybody's still boozed up. I should have done this first. I should have done it this way first. I should have done it this way first. So I should have done. Should have done it this way. Just me. Well, I am live. Nobody's going to see it because it's just part pumped out there, but because we didn't get a broadcast or we didn't inform anybody that we were jumping. Two there jumping in again. Look, I'm just going to go with this because I wanted to do something. I wanted to get it off my chest, and I can do a screen share here. So I'll go through some of the bits and pieces that I have. I wanted to record it on OBS because I wanted to do some YouTube shorts, but I am where I am. Kind of really pointless here, isn't it? It's not the way I wanted it to be. And for what else can I do? Can I adjust this? I can. I'm just kind of playing around. Nobody's in the chat there so far. It says 6 on the counter there. But sir, you get to have a quick look at the backdrop, get to see which way and what direction we're going. But I'm not going to be hanging around. It can be done this way, so it's definitely my OBS that is the big problem. Okay, I'm going to leave it there. Last chance for tonight. Thanks very much. Should have done it this way at the start, but I didn't. So what are you going to do about it? Am I going to close it down? I think the microphone is pretty low there on that as well. Should have been able to hire it up. Good to see you back, Mr. Croft. And to you, Richard. Richard, I'm just going to wax. I'm not going to do anything that I had pre-planned. I'm just going to spin along. I might leave this chat up or this stream up just to see what it records like because it's just coming off the the YouTube studio. I do have a couple of links. I was going to touch and speak on this. Let me see if I can share the link. We'll get started with the first one. The first one is just to bring us about. No, not that one. What about that one there? Yeah, that one there. Sure. Now,
The incentive. What is the motive?
Ready? I got one for you.
Because you got to have a motive.
Money.
Let me show you how. Someone dies, it's over.
No,
Chronicity is big business.
No. This is where you're wrong here, darling. End of life is money time. Okay? So, Canada, a new journal on the Sage Journal on the Omega website. You can go find it on Sage. You know, the medical journals that are peer-reviewed papers from universities, which I have. I can show it to you. It's called the Journal of Death and Dying. It came out this year. Okay. And they did an estimate of what Canada looks to save once they turn the mental illness into the MAID protocol. So from 2027 to 2047, which is a 20-year period, that is when mental illness, meaning anybody can qualify. You don't have to be dying anymore, sweetheart. You can just have a hard time. And once you're in the system, you're in it.
So it doesn't cost them money to treat you through the government, so they save money.
You ready to find out how much? 2027 to 2047, they're expected to use MAID on roughly, this is the journal's, they've done the math, this is the journal's estimate, 14.7 million Canadians. Okay? They're going to save to a tune of $1.273 trillion instead of providing palliative care.
So yeah, it's a bit blocky. It's a bit square and a bit blocky doing screen shares there, but that's kind of the stuff I was kind of bring up on this evening because we're talking about bringing in the maids here. I think we've already started, but then once that Pandora box starts, what is the criteria and who classifies and sets the criteria? They say one psychiatrist and a doctor or whatever, but the state's doctor could sign you off for being. Could sign you off on anything. Hiya, John. I am gonna hang around. I'm just doing this because I'm doing it off the studio. So I'm just practicing the screen share. And I'm not going to do any of the adjustments now, but I did want to touch on this article here. I'll go straight into this article because the journal dropped this tonight about the far right. Just want to have a jump back here. Let me see. just so that you can see me here. How the Irish far right reacted to the revelations of a probe into extremism by An Garda Síochána. So they're already trying to frame narratives. They're already setting narratives. They're creating this invention that even though one of those arrested and is being charged has an affinity to a far left organization, namely Sinn Féin, and two other foreigners are being pinned as the Irish far right. They want to kill 40 million people in 20 years. I heard that's what's wrong. Yeah, it's not going to be far off it after the GP jabs. Let me read through this article anyway, and we will. I'll probably leave this. I'll probably leave this post up just uh, just for um, just for purposes to go back because the OBS was such a disaster. But the article reads how the Irish far right reacted to revelations of probe into extremism by Gardaí, and apparently they were just listening in to on Gavin on his Twitter account. I'm not forgetting the name of the X account at the moment. But after a year of relative quiet following last November's general election, Ireland's far right movement has discussed how it can build up momentum again. But some of its followers are nervy over the role of extremism in their cause as groups evolve and splinter. And this is them just observing from the outside. I'm sure the Institute for Strategic Dialogue is heavily involved in this. So they're doing this wrap up smear campaign, trying to attach the people's names to the events that happened on the day. But we continue in online discussions. Posters have expressed surprise and shock at the court case involving two men who were charged last week planning an attack on a mosque in Galway, as well as hotel accommodation centres for those seeking international protection. Individuals who are members of the supporters or of other far right groups on the fringe of the country's politics post about fractures within the broader movement and how certain groups were taking increasingly hardline paths. They also write of trying to, over recent months, to talk people down from any extreme actions that could see more and more people end up in court. One live stream called Off Grid Ireland, run by activist Gavin, who claims to have attended hundreds of protests in the last 5 years, hosted a discussion about a split in tactics among competing outfits. Now, again, they are just they are just like they're attaching it. It's all kind of nebulous language. Just far right outfits, a fracturing groups, just because they're listening to different people's Twitter spaces, and trying to frame them that they're all one collective group or that we're all splinter groups, and that this is a natural progression. Will it be? It is a natural progression without discussion and discourse, but the fact that they're pushing it and because of who was attached to, because of those identified after the arrest, should lend us to believe of the narrative that's being constructed. The wider story of far right violence took another twist this week when Sinn Féin confirmed that it expelled a member after her partner was arrested for a stream of investigations into anti-terror special detective unit into extremism. One of the newest groups of the Irish far right calls itself the Irish Defence Army and is believed to be a splinter group of a larger organisation called the Irish Citizen Army. Online posts last week saw the ISA criticise its smaller counterpart, blasting them as headless chickens. These posts also claim the smaller group was made up of a handful of ICA own former members. The ICA leadership is relatively new and so far has secretive about its membership. Sorry. I'm going to skip through just for brevity's sake, but it attaches Sinn Féin. It's attacking Anthony Casey. It's attacking Paul Fitzsimons and Martin Murphy. It mentions the three names, as you can see from the onset, and then it attaches them nebulously to the riots. Nothing about why the riots happened, why it started, but framing Martin Murphy and Paul Fitzsimons and Anthony Casey as the ringleaders of some sort of group. So these are the targets that they are or have identified in that. I know it's all a little bit slapdash, and I can't get to read the chinwags. Isn't it great? Isn't it weird? Newsflower and Jay Mikey, the moderators, already the spanners are all there. I see that all the live chats, the live streams were all still set to private. I'll have to go through and release all of them over there as well. Scary Wife, good to see you. We had a major disaster with the OBS, so I'm just kind of doing this rough broadcast. I hope you like the studio backdrop, and there's more to follow on that as we develop going forward. As I fine tune my skills, the OBS skills, try and get a broader picture. You can see a lot more grey, a few more spots around, but we are where we are. I might edit this as well. The second article that I wanted to drop up to you, again, you could go up to the journal and read through that article. But what I'm saying is they're doing a wrap up smear on the three men mentioned, Anthony Paul and Martin Murphy. So setting them in targets along with others as well, which they constantly try to do. And then we also had the Taoiseach out speaking today that this is very, very serious. But then mainstream is also pushing this out, is the construction of an opposition force to their creation of the far right. I think, let me see, it's this one here. No, it's not that one. Not that one. I did have it. Where are you? The understanding the finances. Now I will jump into. Give me one sec there. I'll just say I know where it is. I have it saved here on Telegram. I do have the Telegram back up and running, a fresh account. I'll set out the links when I get to the descriptions set up better. This one here. Let me see. I thought I had this one on display already. I'll press play here. This one here. Have a listen. You probably did hear it during the week, but let's have a little listen to it as well. This is excruciatingly slow, boys. This is excruciatingly slow. I had it there. Where was it? Play, I tell you. Listen to this.
For them, counties, and they will function in their own.
I had the mic off of the whole thing, but you listen to them there. I muted myself there on my mic. I wanted to have a listen to that. I went through a whole other 10 minutes, so we'll probably be deleting this, but I'll get it out to you in the zeitgeist. They're created. Did you hear? Did you see the acronym ARMY? Anti-Racism Movement Ireland, but they're telling you that they're forming their own army. They're allowed to form an army, but they've constructed the boogeyman of the far right, and you can see now what kind of amounts of funds are going to be set into this as well. Again, coming down, I don't think hate speech is going away. Marge Minola says, hi there, love to see you live, watching from New Zealand. Used to see you on PSB. Appreciate that, Marge. Very rushed format. Just back in here just to show our face as well. I don't know why the YouTube account was brought back up. Could be for setting us up, try to attach the Grand Torino to the nebulous far right as well. Hi, Jeff. Good to see you. You're not late at all. I had a complete cluster. Just I'm using the YouTube studio here to try and knock something out just for today. It's all rough and ready here at the Ready Money round. But like I was saying to you there now, so they're throwing money now at this new army that they're building to counteract the Patriots of Ireland. In the meantime, we had the papers pushing that. We also have the politicians talking about building 600,000 houses or 600,000 houses in the next 4 or 5 years. I mean, I have a little video X out here. We're going to finish up on this one, keep it a short broadcast, 15, 20 minutes, and we'll look back on the review, see if there's any sound glitches. Obviously, OBS is a complete disaster, but I will fine-tune it in the week. But this video came across on TikTok, and I want to share with you as well to get your head around the mental gymnastic, the mid-level manager gymnastics that they're doing to cajole people into following along with them on the yellow brick road. We are at the precipice of an impending financial collapse. There's no hiding it anymore. I think they're going to try and push it back. Hey, quite frankly, he's in the house as well, boys and girls. Desperately sorry, Frank. Really rough broadcast tonight. Would love to catch up with you again. I'll just mention it here briefly before I finish off my little diatribe when I play the video there with you. I will be on the 12 Days of Christmas on the Millennial Yule over on his channel, his YouTube channel. I'll set up links and I'll set up links to where you can find that broadcast. I'm not sure the exact date, but among a host of others that are on the stream is Jared Taylor. I like, what? Holy cow, GT. Really hitting the big time now. What else have I got to lose? What else are you going to do at this age, at this time in life with all of this bullshit coming on? Email me if I didn't know how to use to get communicated. It's been so long. Absolutely, Frankie. We were censored for the last 2 years. But if you can remember this, it's gtlive@protonmail.com. I haven't got your email again as well. GT as in Gran Torino, live, Live, at protonmail.com. I would love to jump back in with you. Hopefully I have my setup a little bit more professional as well. Appreciate that, cool cat. Good to see you back. I think we could just hang out here. But I just want to play this last video broadcast. I think it's just important of the mental mathematical gymnastics that are going to push us through. 3 minutes on this broadcast here, but it breaks down the lies, the misinformation that the government can push out, and the maths just ain't mathing up to catch in with the title. Let's have a little listen and have a little sing along to this video. Let's hold on. Oh, no, that's playing in the background. Again, it's crazy. Isn't it? Stop, rewind. Nothing went. Stop. Let's start again. Okay, pretend none of that happened, and we're going to try and do it again. Bear with. We got Joe thing and boom shankala and play. Where is he, Joe? Joe, play.
Promise on housing and why it just isn't adding up.
Would be
They said
18.
we'd get 60,000 new homes every year, but right now we're
Have a
only
listen,
hitting
though. Have
about
a listen.
30,000. Now let's talk money because this is where things get interesting. The average cost to build one home? About 250,000 euro. Multiply that by 30,000 homes, and you get 7.5 billion euros. That's just the raw cost to developers. When you add the average profit for a buyer to purchase a new home is 80,000 euro. That brings the average price for a new house to 330,000 euros. That's the average. It will differ in different regions. So for 30,000 homes, that's 17.4 billion euros flowing through the market every year. 17.4 billion euros. That's not just construction money. That's the total cash circulating from the developers, the banks, and the buyers. Now, what if we actually hit the target? Double the homes, double the money. That's 34.8 billion euros needed every single year to make 60,000 homes happen. So where's that extra 17.5 billion euros supposed to come from? There's no point in asking the government. It might give them a nosebleed. Is it incompetence? Politicians making promises without checking the math? They'll have to have a brain to do that. They've had 4 different housing policies in the last 10 years, and not once have they looked at fixing the problem. Not enough money been lent by the banks. They'll give tax breaks, reduce the size of building. They even give taxpayers money to them. Them are the big boys that are already making fortunes. But the ordinary working person who is living from one paycheck to the next, why would the government think about helping them? No, they'll invite foreign investment into the country to compete with the ordinary citizen looking to purchase a new home.
Yep.
Banks don't want to saturate their books with developers again, so they pick and choose who they do business with. So when small developers and low-income earners can't access money, there is always going to be a shortfall of 17.5 billion euros each year. If the government wants to double supply, they need to double the money in the system each year. But unless incomes lending or government spending also double, the numbers just don't work. So who pays the price? It's the buyers, people who need homes, Paying more, waiting longer, getting squeezed out entirely. And let's be honest. If the government can't explain where the extra 17.5 billion euros will come from, then the promise of 60,000 homes a year is just that. A promise, not a plan. So next time you hear a big housing announcement, ask yourself, where's the money actually coming from? And who's really going to pay? Because when you follow the numbers, you see the real housing gap isn't just about bricks and mortar. It's about who can afford to play the game.
Yeah, so there you are. That'll be the last broadcast there as well. But the math ain't mathing up, boys and girls. They've been playing that. They've been playing that card. They know well that they have spent the pension pot. The pension pot is exhausted. They're trying to borrow on the open markets. The European Council is going to set up European bonds because they're trying to build up a war chest. Out of what? I mean, like I said, when I'm broadcasting over on TikTok, they haven't even got the factories to build bullets or anything yet. All them factories have to be built, whatever they're doing. There isn't the missiles or the ammunition left in the world, apart from the Russians. The Russians have their stock. They can maintain it and have been maintaining their war against the Ukraine and NATO and its associates, and have completely obliterated the paper tiger of NATO. Hence, now that I will say that the double-edged sword of this mass immigration, not only to wash away the ethnic Irish, but I think they're planting them here to get them ready for a war in 2027. I think the NATO are going to try and get ground troops on the war. That is, unless the UK has a coup in the meantime. The 9 generals talking about that the government is putting the civilians' safety at risk. So there's talk of a coup in the UK, and all sorts of stuff pushing on. But France is slowly trembling inside, it too wants to go on a war footing as well. And Russia has warned if they put what they're designating as peacekeepers, but the Russians will call enemy combatants or foreign combatants, and will not be subject to the Geneva Rights Conventions, as they'll be seen as mercenaries, not even peacekeepers. And then it could then indeed put Britain as a target. So I think there's a right for escalation. I think the mass immigration and getting as many people in on board as well is to get the GDP figures. You understand that GDP is based on the transactions, banks transactions, shops transactions, business transactions. The amount of transaction that goes is used as an indicator to establish GDP figures, what they establish the GDP figures, not societal wealth, but GDP figures, which is, again, just on papers. How much money is flowing through the system, as was explained in the video. And they are not explaining the 17.5 billion in costs alone to build said houses. Like I said, we had Sinn Féin have been speaking about the last year. Ian Owen O'Brien, I think it was the housing minister, coming up with a plan that they will build 55,000 houses that are needed in a houses for all scheme, but 600,000 houses, or 300,000 houses or 600,000 houses to stay on target. This is unsustainable. People can see right through it. And again, the government is pushing out its misinformation or malinformation. Against the people as well. How are we going to stop it? We're going to keep on pushing through. We're going to keep organizing, and we're going to keep speaking the truth, and we're going to just keep doing what we do. I'm going to leave you with this quote, a little quote I heard during the week, and it struck true, and I'm sure you've come across it, and I'm sure you're well aware of it. But it goes a little something like, "The truth can only be spoken by those that are prepared to depart." The truth can only be spoken by those that are prepared to depart. With a huge rise of Gen Z now returning to the church, returning to their faith, because they can see the spiritual battle that's ahead of them as well. So, even though we are here in our late in our plume, in the autumn of our years, for some alone, talking about myself, we must do everything and anything we can to try and avoid what could possibly be the inevitable civil war or spilling out of violence. Again, violence is used every day. Many of you are talking about that politics will not be our solution, as even the article in the journal mentioned one of the speakers saying we will not have a political solution. No, we will have a reformation. The lefties' wet dream is to have a revolution, but we will have a reformation of sorts as well, and we will do anything and all that is necessary to do to return the sovereignty to the Republic of Ireland via any and all peaceful means. Context is a matter. So you will remember to ask them if there are any of these quotations of mine are taken out of syntax or context, that they play the full sentence or the full statement with its context. We're not going to fall into any pitfalls. We may be speaking in parables and analogies and using acronyms to ascribe different labels to different people, but you are quick in mind and adept to change your position and understand what we're trying to say here as well. I will leave it at that. Hope you enjoyed the short broadcast again. I really enjoyed being back with you. 25 minutes. And I said I probably wouldn't get more than 10 minutes out, but it just flies away. Let's have a quick roll call from those of you that's still in the chat, and I'll let you get about your business. And we'll have a quick look at the broadcast, see how it came across. We want to thank the moderators joining in, for me and some old familiar faces and 20 new familiar faces. Before I let you go, because I won't forget this. If you've liked, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this broadcast if you think it was worth. I don't think it was worth. Please don't share it, but just let the word out. GT's back. GT is just going to add his voice to the pool of many great speakers, and as one of our live chat said earlier on, many more people are very well aware now of what's going on. So we're just going to add our voice to it again. Keep pushing back. Keep going forward. I'll do a quick roll call here for the people that are here now. I get a 5x5 or a cheerio from Gary Conway. Margie Minola is still in the house. Hooper, good to see you back. Thank you very much, Hooper. Hooper's in the house. We've got Nunes Flower, Peter, Emmanuel Godson, Marge Minola, Gary Conway, and who else? Quite frankly, joined us during the brief and invited us onto his show. Would be very much delighted to do such thing. Scary Wife also said hello and welcomed us back. Shawnee Thornton. Good to have you back. John Francis also jumping in and saying hello as well. Richard McKevitt. And if I've missed your name, I do apologize. Mick the Painter also in the town. And Liam, I'm not gonna pronounce your second name. I do appreciate it. Great to see you all bang on there as well, General. I think I will assume the position of the High King of Ireland. I think it's time that I ascend and we set forth and assemble the army, because another crusade, even if it's only just an Irish crusade, we will have our day. Okay, no sign off music, boys and girls. We're just going to let the music go. But thanks for reaffirming. The general has arrived. We shall have our army, and we shall have our citizen army, the real citizen army, and we shall have our way in the long run. God bless you. God bless yours. Thanks for joining me on this comeback stream, the start again stream. See you all shortly. Mind yourself, boys and girls. Us.